And it seems the pressures of juggling parenting with politics have claimed yet another casualty. Scotland's Community Secretary, Aileen Campbell, has revealed she's stepping down at the next Holyrood election to spend more time with her young family. We'll speak to Ms Campbell in about an hour's time. Her SNP colleague, Gail Ross, is also due to bow out for similar reasons. It's a story that will no doubt be all too familiar to the former leader of the Scottish Conservatives, Ruth Davidson, who joins us now. Good morning to you, Ruth. You said you stepped down last year from the leadership to spend more time with your son. How difficult did you find it juggling politics and parenthood?
Yeah, I mean, I said at the time that it was a bit of both. It was partly because of Brexit and being conflicted and feeling I couldn't lead as I had done before, but also because being the sort of party leader on top of being an MSP, which is already a full-time job, just meant that, you know, I didn't have the time with my son that I wanted. And I have to say, the 6-7 months since I stood down, it has been lovely to get most of my evenings back, to get almost all of my weekends back. My highlight of the week is going baby swimming on a Sunday morning. Now, you know, 5 years ago, if somebody had told me that would have been what I thought was brilliant in life, I would have laughed them out of town. But, you know, sometimes things change, and if you have children, families right across the country, whether in politics or not, will know that you have to take decisions about how you want to have your family life, as well as make sure that the mortgage is paid and everything else.
Ruth, the line's not brilliant, but we'll stick with it for the moment. Does that mean then, if life is now better, not being leader of the party, that you won't be accepting a role in the House of Lords? Because obviously that would involve a lot of travel to London.
Well, first of all, I haven't been offered one, so that hasn't come up yet. But
if you are, the rumours are. You're on the list.
Again, you know, I can't comment on something that's not happened yet, but you know, what myself and my partner have talked about when I stand down, and I've already said that I won't be standing again for Holyrood, so I know I'll be leaving in relatively short order, is what do I want to do? And I know that I don't want to go straight from one big job to another big job. I want to have a bit more flexibility of my time. Because
so is that a no then?
Well, I think in terms of when I leave, it's not going to be a full-time job. Now, you know, it's going to be doing a bit of project work, I think, probably doing a bit of broadcasting, bit of writing.
Bit of TV punditry then. If it's £7,000 a night at ITV, that would pay the bills for a while, wouldn't it?
Well, you know, I think the media is what I used to work in before I was in politics, so that might be an option for me. But in terms of talking about work-life balance, I and my partner are very keen that even though I'm not the leader anymore, being an MSP is a full-time job, she's working full-time, so we're still sending our son to going to childcare 5 days a week. Now, you know, that's a decision that we've chosen. We don't want to make. That's not why we had children, and we hope very much to have more. We want to expand our family. So the decision for me, because I'm about to change job in a year's time, because we all stand down in Holyrood in March, is about how that we juggle that. But I mean, I think in terms of the Scottish Parliament itself, if they want women and men, if they're the primary carer for children, to stay on as MSPs, there are suggestions that MSPs have made, including Gail Ross, of how they can make the Parliament more family friendly. And I think the Parliament needs to consider that if they want to hang on to good people.
Could the Conservatives be making the work-life balance for parents a bit easier as well by improving benefits? There is the two-child cap at the moment. Do you think they should be removing these so that people can afford to look after their children and work at the same time?
Well, the UK government has already made changes, and this is something that refers to the Scottish Parliament as well. So one of the changes that was made was that you can split maternity leave to make it shared parental leave, so that either parent can take it at the way that they want. Now, it so happens that's what we tried to do with Finn when he was born, but the Scottish Parliament doesn't have a maternity policy for MSPs, which meant that when I went to my partner's work, so that we could split the leave between us, I wasn't able to say which proportion of my leave I was using to allow her to use the rest, which is what the law is of this country. So that's one of the ways I think the Parliament can make it better for MSPs to stay as MSPs. Gail Ross has asked if there could be video conferencing, because Holyrood is one of the places, I mean, the UK Parliament's the same, where you are mandated, if you represent an area, to be in that area, but you're also mandated to be in Holyrood, in Edinburgh, to do a job. Now, she represents Wick, Aileen Campbell is the south of Scotland, so they have to have a life that leads them in two parts of the country. We have the teleconferencing available for things like guests that come and not visitors, but people that are interviewed for committees. So this is one of.
Sorry to interrupt, but what about the atmosphere around politics and women in general? Do you feel that women are given a fair crack of the whip? I'm thinking about the situation with the Home Secretary. She's facing 3 allegations of bullying. She's being supported by the Prime Minister. Should she go? Because, politicians could be as guilty of bullying as the online trolls around politics as well.
Well, look, I have absolutely no idea because I don't work in the Home Office. I don't work in Westminster, and there's an investigation going on. So I have no knowledge of this, and I've no way of preempting what the investigation is going to say.
But should she go? She's the story now.
Well, I do not know if she has been accused of bullying and there is an investigation to find out whether she has. Then let's wait for the investigation. But I was invited on because several high-profile MSPs have said that they will no longer be MSPs because of the family unfriendly hours at the Parliament. I'm trying to explain some of the things that the Parliament could do differently. The MSP for Dundee, Jenny Mara, who's she got one young son, she's pregnant with her others, has also asked whether the Parliament can consider proxy voting so that when you're on mat leave, it's not that your voice is not heard, your vote's not recorded. Other parliaments do that. In fact, Westminster is just piloting that with the MP Stella Creasy. So, if the Scottish Parliament is absolutely sure that it wants to be still considered the most family-friendly parliament of the world, if it wants to hang on to MSPs, if it wants to encourage more young women to come in, it has to start listening to MSPs that are making suggestions about how you can make this better. And it's not just about women, it's about whoever is the primary carer, and that's easily could well be and should well be in some cases the man, certainly in this day and age.
Ruth,
but, we are losing talent from the Scottish Parliament, and I don't think we've got talent to burn.
Ruth Davidson, a former leader of the Scottish Conservatives, thank you very much indeed for joining us.